The movie opens in the middle of a massacre. The camera locks into a first-person view and drags us through a gangster hideout, while a hired killer tears through every man inside. Guns, knives, fists. Nothing stops this person. Bodies drop, blood covers the floor, and the fight never slows down for a second. Then the camera finally pulls back, and we see the killer's face. It is a young woman named Saki. She is the villain. Seconds after wiping out the entire gang, Saki is swarmed by police, arrested, and handed over to the Violent Crimes Unit. She wakes up in a plain black and white room with no way out. Gas starts pouring in through the vents, and she passes out again. While she is unconscious, agents from a central intelligence organization are watching security footage of everything she just did. They are not planning to lock her up. One of them sees an opportunity. A killer this skilled could solve a case they have been chasing for years. The agency is run by a woman named Kwon Suk. She sits down with Saki and makes her offer. Saki tells her to kill her instead. To understand why she wants to die, we go back to her childhood. Saki grew up alone with her father, a man who wanted a better life for her. He stole a diamond, and then he made one fatal mistake. He told his closest friend about it. That friend was Jang Chun. Jang Chun acted happy for him. That night, he showed up at the house with his men, whistling as he came through the door. He stabbed Saki's father, then finished him with a hammer. Saki watched the whole thing from under her bed. Jang Chun found her hiding there. Her father was already dead, and her suffering was only starting because she was sold off to a brothel. An old man was about to assault her when a stranger burst in. His name was Jung Sang, and he was the leader of an assassin organization. The old man was his target. During the fight, one of the old man's associates pulled a gun on Jung Sang. The old man's pistol had fallen right next to Saki. She grabbed it and shot the associate dead. Jung Sang looked at this little girl who had just saved his life and decided to take her with him. He did not raise her. He trained her. The training was brutal. Still a child, Saki was put against a grown man in a contest to assemble a firearm. Each of them got one bullet. Whoever finished first got to shoot the other. She finished first. She did not hesitate. Years passed. Saki grew into a lethal young woman, trained in weapons, combat, underwater survival. Even Jung Sang was stunned by how long she could hold her breath. Once her training was complete, she went after the man who killed her father. She tracked Yang Chun down outside an old house. He ran inside like he was cornered, but it was a trap. His men grabbed her, tied her down, and Yang Chun pulled out his hammer, the same weapon he used on her father. Before he could swing, Jung Sang crashed through the window and opened fire. In seconds, Yang Chun and every man in that room were dead. That rescue changed everything between them. Saki and Jung Sang grew close, and eventually they got married. The happiness did not last. Jung Sang was found dead, his face beaten so badly he was almost unrecognizable. According to his aide, Jung Sang had gone alone to the hideout of the men connected to her father's murder. He had been trying to finish her revenge for her without ever telling her. Saki broke. Jung Sang was the only person who had ever loved her, so she went to that hideout by herself and killed every single man inside. That is the massacre from the opening scene. That is what got her arrested. And that is why she is now sitting across from Kwon Suk asking to die. Then Kwon Suk drops a bombshell. Saki is pregnant with Jung Sang's child. That changes everything. Saki asks what the agency actually wants from her. The deal is simple. 10 years as an agent, 10 years of missions. After that, she gets her freedom, a clean identity, and a normal life. For her child, she says yes. Saki is taken to a training facility full of women being molded into secret agents, all under Kwon Suk's command. Because she is pregnant, she is put through theory work, cooking classes, and lessons meant to uncover a hidden talent she can use as a cover. Her talent turns out to be solo stage acting, and she is shockingly good at it. But in the middle of one performance, her water breaks. She gives birth to a baby girl. Months later, Saki is back in training, and the difference is obvious. When a fellow trainee named Kim Seon tries to jump her from behind, Saki blocks the attack without even turning around and drops her in seconds. The instructors watch it all on the security cameras, and they know exactly what they have. One of the men watching, an agent named Yong-hyun, quietly falls for her. Her shooting is better than everyone else's. Her firearm assembly is faster than anyone in the program. She is not just the best in her class, she is the best they have. So Kwon-suk gives her a real mission. Kill a gang boss the agency has been hunting for years. Saki slips into his house and walks into his bedroom. The second she opens the door, it is clear he was expecting her. They fight, and the fight is vicious, but it ends with the boss dead on the floor. The noise brings his men running. Saki escapes on a motorcycle, and the chase turns into a full-speed battle down the highway, blades swinging between bikes at 100 kilometers an hour. When she reaches a bridge blocked off by police, she has one option left. She rides straight off the edge and drops into the river with her bike to protect her identity. The mission is a success. Her criminal record is erased. The agency sets her up in an apartment and covers all her expenses. With a new name and a new face, Saki finally starts living a quiet life with her daughter. But her contract is still running, which means she is still being watched. Kwon-suk assigns Jong-hyun to keep surveillance on her, and he moves into the apartment right next door. For him, this is not just an assignment. It is an opportunity. When they finally meet, he comes on strong enough that Saki gets suspicious and reports him to Kwon-suk. Kwon-suk covers for him with a lie about who he really is. Jong-hyun keeps trying. One rainy night, he waits at the bus stop for her to come home, and he wins her over with nothing but an umbrella. From there, they get closer and closer until neither of them is pretending anymore. Then the phone rings. Kwon-suk has another mission, and Jong-hyun gets left behind. This time, Saki is not working alone. She is paired with a teammate named Min-ju. The two of them go undercover as escorts at a brothel, targeting two men with the goal of copying critical data off their phones. They get the data, but one of the men figures out what happened. He demands it back and takes Min-ju hostage. Saki kills them both, but she is a step too late. Min-ju is stabbed in the neck. Saki rushes her out to the extraction point where Kwon-suk is waiting, but there is nothing anyone can do. Min-ju bleeds out and dies. Back at headquarters, the team breaks down the stolen data, and it points them to a major figure in the criminal world, a man tied to an organization of assassins. They assign their best agent to eliminate him. That agent is Saki, and Kwon-suk hands her the mission on the day of her wedding to Jong-hyun. Saki gets into position with the rifle they prepared for her. She lines up the shot. Then she sees the target's face through the scope, and her whole world stops. The target is Jung-sang, her husband. The man she watched die. The man she killed an entire gang to avenge. He is alive. The shot never happens. The mission fails. After the assassination attempt, Jung-sang starts digging into anything suspicious around him, including the wedding that took place near the shooting site. What he finds is strange. The wedding was packed with paid guests. Nothing about it was real. Saki has had facial surgery, but Jung-sang still thinks he recognizes the bride. He follows her, and he watches her have dinner with her new husband. When Jong-hyun steps away to take a call, Jung-sang sits down across from her, with a pistol pointed at her under the table. Saki is shaking. Everything she buried comes back out. All the grief, all the loneliness, all the years she spent believing he was dead. Jung-sang gets his confirmation. This is his wife. And then he simply walks away and leaves her sitting there in tears. Meanwhile, one of Jung-sang's men has been tailing Jong-hyun, and he catches a conversation between Jong-hyun and Kwon-suk. He records the whole thing. What is on that recording changes everything. The wedding was never real. The marriage was never real. Jong-hyun's entire relationship with Saki was a mission, built from the start to draw out Jung-sang and kill him. The recording reaches Saki, hidden inside a bouquet of flowers sent under Jung-sang's name. She listens to it, and the last thing she trusted in her life falls apart. So she burns them. Saki leaks the agency's secret operation to Jung-sang and warns him that an agent is coming for him. Jung-sang's men catch that agent easily. Kwon-suk has her arrested and demands to know why she betrayed them. By now, Kwon-suk knows exactly who Jung-sang is to her. Tied to a chair, Saki tears into her. Kwon-suk does not deny using her, but she insists on one thing. Jong-hyun's feelings were real. Saki does not believe a word of it. To her, she has never been anything but a weapon in someone else's hand. So Kwon-suk makes a trade. She will hand Saki over to Jung Sang in exchange for Kim Seon, who is being held by his organization. Jong Hyun is ordered to stay behind and protect Saki's daughter. That night, as the convoy moves Saki to the exchange, a motorcycle slams into the vehicle and forces them to stop. The rider is Jung Sang. He tears through Kwon-suk's men one by one. Kwon-suk barely escapes with a bullet in her shoulder. Saki sees Jung Sang standing there and believes he came to save her. She is happy for about 10 seconds. Then she remembers her daughter, and she runs. She gets to her apartment building just in time to see her window explode. Her little girl comes flying out of it, still wrapped tightly in Jong Hyun's arms. He shielded her with his own body all the way down. Both of them are dead. Saki is certain Kwon-suk did this. She storms in demanding answers, and Kwon-suk gives her something much worse. She plays the security footage from inside Saki's apartment. The man who killed her husband and her daughter was one of Jung Sang's own men. Everything Saki thought she knew was gone. Jong Hyun died protecting her child. Jung Sang murdered her. Now there is only one thing left. Saki scouts Jung Sang's headquarters, studies the layout, and then drives a car straight through the front of the compound. His men have no time to react. She tears the place apart with a long rifle, killing everyone in her path and sending Jung Sang's aide running for his life. Finally, she reaches Jung Sang, who has been waiting for her the whole time. He draws his prized blade, the weapon of a master. Saki pulls out 2 kitchen knives, the kind you use to chop onions. Then husband and wife go to war. The fight spills out of the compound and into the street. Police sirens close in, and Jung Sang and his surviving men escape onto a bus. Saki comes up behind them in a car, climbs onto the moving bus, and forces her way inside. What happens next is not a fight. It is a slaughter. She goes through every man on board until the bus loses control at full speed and flips over. She crawls out of the wreck and finds Jung Sang broken and helpless in the middle of the road. For a moment, she hesitates. After everything, part of her still cannot finish him. Then Jung Sang whistles, and she recognizes the sound instantly. He was the second man in her house that night. He was there when her father was murdered. He was the one who helped Yang Chun kill him, and the weapon in his hand right now is identical to the one that ended her father's life. Every good thing in Saki's life was built by the man who destroyed it. She does not hesitate this time. She swings the axe straight into his head. The end. So the moral of the story is, if your boyfriend dies, comes back to life, lies to you, joins an assassin cult, and keeps showing up with dramatic whistles, maybe stop giving him second chances and start changing your phone number.